World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. I don't remember exactly when the dream called the World Cup first began inside me. Maybe it was on a very ordinary afternoon in Rosario, when I was just a kid, sitting close to an old TV, watching men in blue and white stripes running across the pitch. I didn't understand everything that was happening, but I remember the feeling, how the adults in my house would fall silent when the game became tense, and then explode when a goal was scored. Back then, football wasn't about tactics or trophies. It was about emotion. It was something that could make people forget everything else. And that's how my love for the game slowly flowed into my veins. And just like that, like every other kid in Argentina, those images grew into a dream inside me, to become a professional footballer. And beyond that, to one day lift that golden trophy, just like the men in blue and white, the Argentine players I admired so much. My path in football wasn't easy. I was rejected in many places because I was too small, too light. I had to take growth hormone injections just to keep chasing the game professionally. But somehow, among all the doors that closed, Barcelona opened one for me, giving me the chance to keep chasing football and the World Cup dream that never left me. In 2006, I stepped into that world for the first time. I was 18, small, quiet, almost invisible in a crowd. In the dressing room, I was the youngest, the smallest. Names like Riquelme, Crespo, Ayala. I had only seen them on TV. Now I sat next to them, listening, trying not to show that everything still felt like a dream. When I came on against Serbia and Montenegro, everything happened so fast. I touched the ball, passed, then scored. I didn't have time to think. No time to feel pressure. It felt like playing on the streets again. Everything just came naturally. But the World Cup is not a street pitch in Rosario. It doesn't give you time to adjust. Against Germany in the quarterfinals, I didn't play. I sat on the bench, watching the game pass minute by minute. When the penalty shootout started, I was still there. And when we lost, I didn't cry. Not because I didn't feel pain, but because I didn't know how to react. I just watched. Watched my teammates collapse. Watched the opponent celebrate. And for the first time in my life, I understood what helplessness really felt like. When you are there, but you can't do anything. 2010, I came back. But this time, it wasn't light anymore. I was no longer the young talent. I was Messi, the Ballon d'Or winner. The one everyone expected to do something special. I gave everything I had, but something wasn't right. I played deeper, touched the ball a lot, tried to control the rhythm, but the goals didn't come. Game after game, the weight kept growing. You start thinking more. You start asking, why? And once that question enters your mind, everything becomes harder. Germany, 0-4. I remember the final whistle. It wasn't an explosion of pain. It was emptiness. A very quiet emptiness. I walked off the pitch, head down, saying nothing. And from that moment, the comparisons started to grow louder. People compared me to Diego Maradona. Maradona 1986. Questions I didn't have answers for. And maybe the hardest part was when those voices started appearing in your own head, even when nobody said them out loud. 2014. By then, I was a bigger star than ever. 4 Ballon d'Ors, so many club trophies. But I knew the only thing that truly mattered to me was that golden trophy. For the first time, I felt like the World Cup was really close. Not because I said it, but because I could feel it. From the very first match, I knew what I had to do. Not to prove anything to anyone, but simply because I wanted to reach the end of this road. Bosnia, I scored. Not the best goal, but it helped me breathe again. Iran, the last-minute strike. No thinking, just instinct. When the ball went in, I didn't celebrate like usual. I just stood there for a second, like everything had just been released. Nigeria, 2 goals. Step by step, we moved forward. We weren't the most beautiful team, but we knew how to survive. And sometimes, at the World Cup, that matters more than anything. Then the final. I remember everything. The atmosphere, the sound, the lights. Time felt slower. Minute 47. I got the ball. Space opened up. I ran. I saw the goal. I saw the keeper. No thoughts, no pressure, just a shot. And then it went wide. Just a little. But in that moment, you know. You don't need a replay. You don't need anyone to tell you. You know it was your chance. When Götze scored, I just stood there. No reaction. Not because I felt nothing, but because everything was too clear. When the match ended, I walked past the trophy. It was right there, so close. But I couldn't look at it for long. They gave me the Best Player award. I held it, but I felt nothing. 2022. So much had changed. I was 35. I had left Barcelona, my home for almost my entire life. I didn't enter this World Cup with the same pressure. Not because it mattered less, but because I understood I couldn't carry everything alone anymore. I wanted to enjoy it, in a way I never had before. Then, Saudi Arabia. We lost. In the dressing room, no one said much, but there was no panic, just a different kind of silence. I looked at my teammates, and I saw something. Belief. Not belief that we would win it all, but belief that we were still here. Mexico. The shot from outside the box. When it went in, I didn't run. I just stood there for a second, like years of weight had finally been released. Poland, Australia, Netherlands, Croatia. Every match had its moment. But this time, I didn't feel like I had to do everything. I just did my part, and the team did theirs. Dibu, a monster in goal. Enzo, Macca, Julian Alvarez, De Paul, Angel, all of them played like their lives depended on it. And with Scaloni's decisions, my old dream came back stronger than ever. Then the final. France. We dominated from the start. I scored the penalty, then 2-0. Angel scored. Everything was in our hands. The trophy had never been closer. Around the 79th minute, it was still 2-0. We were in control. And then, Kylian Mbappe, my teammate at PSG, a true monster, the best of the new generation. 4 years earlier, he had already destroyed us. He beat Dibu and scored the penalty. 2-1. 2 minutes later, an unreal volley. 2-2. Insane. Everything came like a wave. You think you have control, and suddenly it takes it away. Extra time. We pushed forward. I scored. When the ball crossed the line, I just looked at it. No immediate celebration, like I needed to be sure. It was real. 3-2. Then 3-3. Kylian, hat-trick. He beat Dibu again from the penalty spot. Jesus, this freaking guy is unstoppable. I don't know how to describe that feeling. You are so close, and then pulled back again. Penalties. When I stepped up, I didn't think about the past. I didn't think about failure. Just the ball. And the next shot. When Montiel scored, I don't remember what I did first. I just remember falling. And in that moment, everything went silent. Not because the stadium was quiet, but because inside me, there was nothing left to be tense about. I held the trophy. It felt heavier than I imagined. Not because of its weight, but because of everything behind it. At that moment, I knew exactly how much people would praise me. So many called me the greatest of all time, the GOAT. But honestly, none of that was what I cared about. All I cared about was that incredible sight of the trophy. I had dreamed of that moment since I was just a little boy. I had turned down the chance to play for Spain just so I could give everything to my homeland, the place where I was born, the place that led me to this moment. And in the end, it all felt like a movie. with a perfect ending to my dream and to the dream of an entire nation, Argentina. 2006, when I could only watch. 2010, when I couldn't score. 2014, when I was so close. 2018, when I wasn't sure I'd have another chance. Now, I did it.